working on it a little while. Yes, we're ready now.
All right, it's 1:44 on Tuesday, July 2nd. We're going to call to order the special meeting of the Town of Groton Traffic Authority. First roll call, I'm LJ Pizarro, Chief of Police.
John Burt, Town Manager.
We are the Traffic Committee, the Traffic Authority. I'd also invite everybody that's in attendance, just for the record, to introduce themselves. We'll start with the Director of Public Works.
Greg Hanover, Director of Public Works.
Jeannie Veslowski, Assistant to the Chief.
Officer Street for Fifi, Community Policing Officer.
Sarah Arlington, resident and business owner of Small Race and Events by Sarah Arlington.
President of Greater Mystic Chamber.
Amy Harvey, event manager for the Greater Mystic Chamber.
All right, well, good morning. We have an agenda, but if the town manager concurs, we're going to jump to some new business just for the sake of those that may have other things to do this afternoon, and we can do our formalities later. We'll if you're okay with that, we'll start with item 5.1, 2024-625, a request for no parking signage on Amherst Court. Oh, I'm sorry, that's the wrong one.
No, yeah.
My bad. Jumped to the wrong one.
Five.
5 and 6. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
My bad. Apologize for that. We're going to go with item 5.5, 2024-629, request to close River Road for fireworks display. And that's with the chamber.
Thank you very much. So a little bit of history. We, in 2022, we did fireworks off a barge, and in 2023, we did the same right in front of the seaport there. And the barge was a considerable expense. So we were looking at potentially trying to get the fireworks fired off from land, which would save us that significant expense. And we met with the state police and Old Mystic Fire Department and proposed that we would shoot the fireworks off on River Road in front of the Peace Sanctuary off the road. We met with the state police, Old Mystic Fire, and a representative from Garden State Fireworks a few weeks ago, and reviewed the area, and we got the green light from the state police and the fire department to shoot them off there, with understanding what the launch angles would be and that kind of thing. There were two other things we need to do. One is there's one house that's occupied within 500 feet. We need to talk to her and see if she would vacate from the time that they loaded the fireworks until a half an hour after, which would be about noon to 8:30. I didn't want to go to her until I went to you guys first. And what we're looking for is to close River Road from Star Road to Vine Lost from noon to 8:30, about noon to 8:30. And I think the good thing about it is that there's an easy workaround on High Street, so you can go right up and around people who are, you know, walking or biking or getting their exercise in on that Saturday. And so wanted to come to the Traffic Commission to find out if that's possible. And then if it was possible, to find out if eventually we could figure out what the cost would be to the chamber for the officers and having the road closed.
What, this is in October, right?
Yes, October 5th, with a potential rain date of the 6th.
I can't give you a cost off the top of my head.
Okay.
We'd have to look at what the intersections are where we'd have to put officers or shut down.
Yeah.
I don't have a big concern other than I will say that in the past, at times when we've done things on River Road, some of the residents express concern over it.
Mhm.
That would be my biggest. You know, if the chamber wants, we want to be supportive of the chamber.
Yeah,
and
to
certain
broadcast
things,
it as much as possible,
Yeah.
get the word out there.
Yeah, so would you recommend that we, like, I have no problem letting people know, you know, letting people know what the situation is, how they get around it, whatever. Is that something that you would want before approval, or how does that work?
I'm fine without it. Now, Greg, I assume we'd have you, Public Works, put barriers out, would you think?
We usually, yeah.
Okay, okay.
That would be my only reservation, just again, some of the folks that live on that road have expressed concerns in the past and have
Yeah.
not.
What I'd like to do is make a motion contingent on one, you touch a base getting the approval of the neighbor there.
Okay,
But also if you could provide us something to share on social media, so we
Okay.
put on the official town, both police and town Facebook.
okay,
I'll second that. And I think as part of this, I'll also, the due into you from us would be a cost estimate.
and if you can also let us know, so we did it on the water, we had to set up a perimeter that I believe was around 500 feet, and we used buoys. Yeah, we'll get those from the Harbor Commission. But there needs to be a police boat, I believe, out there patrolling that area to make sure people don't go in, so need to understand the cost of that as well. And when I was talking about the event to the police commission in Stonington, they kind of, they wanted to kind of understand what their involvement would be. Maybe down the road, we all get together so that we all understand, but they wanted to make sure that they were, when it was in the water, it kind of was on the Stonington side.
Right.
And they,
Right.
I think, more responsibility.
Okay.
To it. But just want to get everybody in the loop and make sure we understand.
Yeah, I mean, our marine unit's been pretty active lately, so I mean, I don't know that that would be a big problem, but yeah, we'll put that stuff together. We'll
Okay.
Certainly be happy to meet with Stonington as well.
Okay, I'm good.
So we're good, just
Nope.
gotta get you an image for Facebook.
Yeah. it's-
Yeah, something to
we're-
share with the public. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And again, and I concur that maybe talking to those individuals in that house, we don't want to say, yes, we're going to do this, and all of a sudden you have a problem where that person. will make it.
Yeah, I think, what I've been told, I know, mutual friends, and, it's just it is with one house.
Okay.
So I think we'll be okay, especially for, everything or something,
Sure.
So, yeah, and then at the other, like within the area that's where the road's closed, there's I want to say, towards the town side, like the downtown side, there's probably, I think there's 2 houses coming in from Star. And on the other side, I don't think there's 2. I think there might be 2, but they can be in their houses, but they have to get there.
Right.
Yeah, obviously, we're not going to limit somebody's access to their
Yeah.
home, the officers are going to know, hey,
Yeah.
this is we can let this
I
person.
think that the place that we're choosing, thankfully, limits to like people being upset because it is just an easy work. Get back up there.
On my vote.
In favor?
Aye.
Good stuff.
You good?
Appreciate that.
Oh, go
Oh,
ahead.
sorry.
Hold on. Sorry.
So you guys, just out of curiosity, you shooting these from a trailer or how do you shoot these off?
They put them, they have,
They
So
have
place
mortars
it
that they
on the
use.
road?
yes.
They have to reinforce it. There's state police, the Office of the State Fire Marshal actually is the one who governs it, but it's the troopers that are assigned. There's certain activities that they have to be present when it's fired under state law.
So, I mean, if we get it, if this proceeds, we should probably have like our insurance look at this just to cover us in case it's any damage to the road or anything like that.
That makes sense. And I would imagine that the fireworks company, I know they get the insurance with the fireworks.
They have to be bonded, right?
Mm.
So I'll find out, and make sure that that's covered.
Good question.
Yeah.
Are there any other questions?
All right,
Thanks.
thanks.
Thank you.
Nice to see you guys.
You too.
That's good.
Thank you.
All right. I jumped over that again. I apologize. I should have brought you first. I went in the wrong order. So, item 54, 628, a request to use town roads for the first annual run for the Mystic in Our Hearts Road Race. So Mystic is in our hearts, apparently. We've got.
Music in our hearts.
Oh, music, I'm sorry.
We still had the wrong
So-
long point
She-
through.
Mystic
So
and
I
music.
did not.
Oh,
include
Mystic
the
and
wrong
music,
long
yes.
point.
Well, so the second one that I sent you, actually, it does say where, and it does say Groton Long Point, and I was just gonna have you guys cross out those words and put in the word knowing. But it does have in the actual write out, it does have.
Okay, they did receive that, but when I looked at the map that accompanied it, it was still Groton Long Point.
Oh,
It
I
still showed
apologize.
Groton Long Point, so I didn't include it.
So I did try, if everybody wants, I apologize. Just for background, I had to scramble to kind of change my route a little bit.
She was originally
How long
hoping,
is it?
At 3.1 mile.
yeah, and she was trying to start at Esker. The route would occur in Groton Long Point and then end at Esker. And basically Groton Long Point said, so she looked at it knowing. They looked at it, so now we're going with a knowing. So it's written out correct, but the map part was wrong. It was
So it
still.
starts at Esker Point
Correct.
and it goes, Noank. I don't, Petey, unless you talked to Parks and Rec about this, do they have any?
I have.
Yes, Sarah
So I
did.
put my request in and I talked to Ben personally yesterday and thanked him for all his help pointing me in the right direction. And he said that his yes is contingent on your yes.
This will, it says you'll need an officer to help block the road near the beginning and the end of the race. You may need more than that, to be frank.
Okay.
Every intersection.
Yeah, we can't, particularly when there's something like this that's going on that's organized, we're gonna have to put officers out there. And I can say that because there's a cost associated with that, and it's not something that we budget for. Cost is kind of put on the shoulders of the event organizers.
Okay.
And I'd have to have our team take a look at that, just to figure out what we would need for officers in some of those locations. I don't want to make it cost prohibitive for you either. I'm sure it's for, a good cause, but for public safety reasons, we do have to do that. I'm sure you understand that.
Yes.
So I don't necessarily have a problem with it, but I just want to be upfront and let you know that.
Right, so I drove the area and what I was originally thinking, or what I came up with was I would start everybody in the parking lot. And then so the officers would just block the roads, come, at the very beginning of the race, coming out onto Marsh Road. And then maybe blocking right there where they're taking the right into Terrence Ave. And then once they get onto that large road, I feel like everybody's going to start spreading out a little bit because it's a very large, long road before you get into the neighborhood itself. And then I was going to take everybody to the right up into Knowing. There is another road right here.
So, there's only issue.
We might need an officer possibly that would take you, I don't have the name of the road right here, but it would normally take you to, I think it's like 214 right there, right? So, so possibly an officer there, so that would be 3. But the rest of the neighborhood, the roads are kind of a little bit narrow, and I feel like once people are getting up into the neighborhood, that they're going to thin out for the most part. I was planning on providing insurance, putting out water, having lots of volunteers.
I don't know if you have any questions, but my big concerns would be about that. We will have to, and I cannot, as we sit here, without going through a more detailed analysis, figure exactly where we need to put officers and to give you a fair estimate on what that would cost, because we'd have to set up, typically what we do is we set up an outside billing account through the finance department so that when, these events do happen, they can charge the respective vendor, which in this case would be you guys, to charge for those costs. All right, so we can get back to you on that.
Yeah.
I don't know if there, what is the date on this? September 21st, and that's a Saturday, I assume, or a Sunday?
Yep.
How many runners do you expect to be in this?
My desire is about 300.
Does it conflict with any other road races that weekend where you might get less?
No, I looked up, I did a general search on different websites to see if there was any other races going on that weekend. I didn't see anything.
Any sponsors or anything like that? Or just you
Just a
guys?
couple of friends that own businesses that said that they would sponsor me as long as I get approval that I can actually move forward with the planning the rest of the race. I didn't want to go and start, getting all of the sponsorship and money and whatnot unless I had an actual
Sure.
date.
I don't have any big
Yeah,
issues with that.
I'm fine with it.
I'll make a motion that we approve it contingent upon our analysis, which we'll provide you, but
Absolutely.
we'll approve it. But just know that we're gonna have to get back to you and say, hey, we need to figure out what we have for officers that are gonna be necessary to facilitate this. Make sure you're good with that.
Yeah.
All right, so,
I'm good.
all right, so all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Could you please get Jeannie your contact info? You already have it.
I have it.
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
Chatting back and
Yeah.
forth. So, yes, I really appreciate
Great.
it.
Oh,
Thank you so
absolutely.
much.
You're welcome.
And one of our, somebody from our team will be in contact with you to let you know, hey, this is what we're gonna have for, we're gonna need for officers, just so you have an idea.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ask Lieutenant McCain and Linda to handle that.
Okay, will do.
Okay,
All right.
all right, so I'm gonna start planning it, and I'm good with the money as far as officers go.
Okay.
Yeah, you just gotta let me know. All right.
Yeah, 50 officers. You'll all be-
Okay, thank you so much. I don't know.
We're not gonna need you.
The officers and the. As long,
But I'll touch base with you on the day.
Yeah.
Situated. Okay.
absolutely, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
The meeting will go back onto the regular or onto the consecutive order of the agenda, which is item number 2.
I understand myself out.
Yeah. I'll
Thank you
I'll-
so
I'll
much.
show you
I
that.
really
Okay,
appreciate
thanks.
it. Yes.
Good luck with the event.
Thank you. Bye.
No, I was gonna say, Chief, yes, sir. I didn't know, interrupt, but she's gonna need a lot more than 2 hours.
Yeah, oh, yeah,
I
yeah.
recognize that, yeah.
She's saying Terrace Avenue, you're gonna have to cross another direction, Ward Avenue, Main Street, Front Street, did the 205 race. People come from every direction, and they come out of their residence too. Now they're gonna come right in the middle of the race when you're not even expecting them, because their houses are right there, so.
Yeah, we'll, like I said, we'll ask, either Lieutenant McAndrew or Lieutenant Linda, only because Lieutenant Linda does traffic, and that might be we'll have to give her a more accurate idea of what she needs from us. The next item is approval of the minutes.
I don't have it. It's stop right there.
So
So
we'll table that.
I'm digging myself into a hole.
Postpone. Not to-
Yeah. Public communications? Any?
I put the Hazelnut Hill one as new business.
Okay. Any old business?
No.
Under new business, 2024-625, request for no parking signage on Amherst Court.
And I think you'll remember years ago, we approved a couple of no parking areas. But they came back and they wanted to expand the area, so I asked Sharif to look at it and
Yes,
Yeah,
so
could you talk
I went
to-
out there, and there are about 10 houses on that block. We have a very unique roundabout right in the middle,
Yeah.
Amherst Court.
I think I've been out there myself a couple of
yeah,
times.
we
So,
drove out there.
I saw there, sir, and I understand the logic behind the previous no parking signs. There's 2 there right now. And I think because the road is a little narrow, it's about 19 feet or so. That's one of the more narrow roads that we have in town. So when folks are pulling out of their driveway, there's not enough room. So against almost 2 driveways at the entrance, there's a no parking sign. So when I met with these few residents there, and they have guests that come in, I proposed, rather than adding more signs, we repurpose the existing signs that we have there, and then change them to make it no parking from the beginning of the street up to the corner of the cul-de-sac. So once you enter Amherst Court off Crest Drive, there'll be no parking either side of the road, because it's not sufficient really for us or anybody else to get through. And then once you go in to where the roundabout comes in, there's a couple of parking spots that residents use and they want to keep them. But me and Jeff Church met there, so up to the roundabout, there'll be no parking at both sides. But once they get the roundabout, there's a couple of parkings that do not block driveways. Folks can still park there, or residents can still park.
Did you discuss this with those people that
Yes, sir, yeah.
in the neighborhood?
Yep.
That sounds reasonable. to me.
And so I'm
Right.
repurposing the signs that are there. We're not adding any more because they were worried about more signs in their yard. Just two are gonna become in the front to say no parking this side of the street, and two become at the end saying no parking at that corner. Just so
So-
people understand they can still park in the cul-de-sac.
Can you, I'm good with that. If somehow you can articulate that writing so that we can.
Yes, sir, I did. Did
You
I?
did?
Yes, Jeannie, I did, right?
Yep.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Recommendation
Yep, got
number
it.
2.
So from here, does it end right here as you, at the mouth of the
Yes, sir.
roundabout
Both-
then?
Yes, Mr.
From,
Both-
from the entrance to it, to the mouth of the
Yeah,
roundabout?
so right now, right at the amount of the road, there's signs, and those signs were for the purpose of the two opposite houses, they come out of the driveway.
Right,
So I'm gonna repurpose the same signs and put two at the front, so people coming into Amherst Court know that, hey, you
Mm-hmm.
can't park in this side of the street, but I don't want them to be mistaken thinking that they can even park in the roundabout.
right.
So that's why. And then I made sure the residents, because they were concerned that we're gonna add more signs. I'm like, no, we're repurposing the signs that are existing there, right? So
I think it's a good solution.
Greg, you're good with,
Yes,
There
it's
we go.
relocating some signs.
all right, I'll make a motion that we, adopt the recommendation from Officer Afifi.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Next item is 2024-626, request for no parking signage, 2 and 3 Fort Rachel Place.
yes, Chief. So as you enter, and I articulated this, as you enter from Knowing to Fort Rachel, there's a short little public parking available both on the right and the left. But as you go in, it goes into 3 Fort Rachel, was a private parking lot. 5 Fort Rachel was a private parking lot, and then it curves all the way down to Water Street. And then when folks park at both ends there, and I spoke to both residents and the business owners, I couldn't get through, nobody can get through. But you're talking about private parking lots, there's really no reason, and my guess, I'm making a logical assumption here, people are parking there are either trying to find a way to sneak into downtown or to get to DPI, because they don't know how else to park. But people that work at the private complexes there have their own parking spots. 5 for Rachel and 3 for Rachel, and they won't actually have chains up, so they limit it to only their workers. While at 2 for Rachel, it's a resident, and 3 for Rachel, it's a resident that rents out to some businesses. And then the road curves into Water Street. So there's really no place for anyone to go in there unless they're just trying to, really like at an event of some sort. They're just trying to find a parking spot to get into town.
So is it all the way up right here then? Right up there?
Yes, so this is
There's no lake right here.
and you go in for Rachel. So all the way, so yeah, from here up to here.
Okay, just there?
Yeah.
Okay,
Because this curves Water Street back,
okay.
and then you have 5 for Rachel and 3 for Rachel, which are private parking lots anyway.
Okay.
Nobody's allowed to park in there unless
Right.
you work there.
Okay.
But and then one of the pictures, a couple of the cars that are parked there, I couldn't get through.
Hmm.
And then the business owners here said they will, if they park on both sides of the street, especially on the weekend,
Hmm.
nobody gets through at all.
Right.
But the
I've
reality,
seen that, yeah.
but the reality,
Mhm.
sir, you don't need to go in here unless you go into those 2 parking lots and they're private, so you
Mhm.
already have a spot, or the residents up in Fort Rachel coming down Water Street. They
Right.
all have their own driveways.
Right.
So you're parking here to really DPI or maybe walk down to downtown is one
Right.
of my guess, so.
That seems perfectly reasonable to me. I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Aye.
Yes, that's what they're talking about. So we will a little behind the time you see the speed limit 15 to mile, just private parking lot here and private parking lot.
Did you bring that map?
I created it.
Right,
I created
I'm looking, I'm like,
Right now, they park either side. You
it.
can get through
My
there.
first job was making maps. My first government
Yeah.
job.
Okay.
No, both
I was the Noah at one
because
point.
if you park on one and you park off the road on the other side, Greg, you can still get through. I actually put a picture of one truck that was parked there all the way at the end and then completely blocking the road.
The next agenda item is 2024-627, request for time parking space signage adjacent to 11 Water Street. Did that come from you?
Yes, Chief. So I spoke to last parking, they have nothing to do with it, and I spoke to the.
Are you talking about the four spot,
Yes,
the
sir.
police parking only?
And the
I know
three
that
next-
there was a proposal in this year's budget, which I don't think went through.
Yes, sir, I spoke to Greg,
Yeah.
to make sure first that if the proposal goes through, that would be a moot point, right, Greg? And he said no, for the loading zone. So I talked to Susan Fisher, who's one of the,
Then car parking, release it.
she's one of the directors there, and she said, Mr. Bush, there's a standing lease, 20 years plus.
Yep.
And she's like, those parking spots are yours.
They are.
So my thought process, Chief, was that if we're going to the 2T systems and we're gonna move to a more enforced parking with time limits, there
2 hours?
should be a reason that there's 3 spots in Water Street, people can utilize and frankly abuse. I mean, I've had cars parked there 24 hours.
Mhm.
And then if you got Pearl right there and Milestone
Yeah.
and Friar Tucks,
Your recommendation is sound.
Yeah, I'm 100.
You don't
I'm
need
full-
to justify it
I'm full-
anymore. It's
yeah,
it's
I'm full-
immediately obvious.
I think it's a great idea.
Immediately apparent. that
I mean, let them go, have dinner and leave, not park the whole day, so.
Agreed. I
Yep.
agree with you.
And then Jeff did actually revamp our sign, because folks were parking there saying that they don't see the sign. So,
Yeah.
yes, so they put a more reflective.
Oh, they
one there,
see it.
So it's
Oh,
more
they
obvious.
see it. I moved a couple of people out of there. myself.
Yes, sir, I talked to people there, Mr. Brown, they were like, oh, is it there? I don't see it. I'm like, come on, it's right. Now it's more.
If they see a red and blue light in front of it, they'll.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
No, I would make a motion that we enact that.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
So is that 2 hours? did you say?
Yes,
Two
sir.
hours.
So 2 hours, be consistent, really, other than a couple of 15 spots in front of the thing, everything is 2 hours.
Great suggestion. That's probably long overdue.
Mhm.
Um,
Oh, I missed, where's the town manager parking spot downtown?
Mr. Brown, you get to override the police parking spot. And Chief, I spoke with Kevin. Kevin, what's his last name? That you gave me his name from the state.
Oh, Kevin Ing.
oh, Kevin Ing, yeah.
Oh,
sure.
And he said they had discussions with you, and I told him that I'm planning to do this, it's a great idea to have, he said, I have nothing to do with it, but I was telling him no. And I told him about some of the other spots we have, and I told him that eventually I want to propose something, he said, go through your channels, let me know. I said that there is a little bit of spots that are 2 hours, sounds 15 minutes, doesn't make a lot of sound logic, should be more consistent.
Mm.
And I told him about the new parking software, he said, once you're up and running, talk with the local
Yeah.
authority.
Yep.
And then recommend if you want to change some of those 15 minutes to more 2 hours, so we can have consistency down there.
Sure. Well, as you know, and on that topic, we're enacting the, fielding the software and parking management system that you played a significant role in.
Great, thank you, Chief.
The next item of business is 2024-630 request for additional speed signage and enforcement on 117 and Hazelnut Hills Road.
That was
This
the
has come up
residents,
before.
it has
Mm.
come up before. So I put it on there to discuss it.
So letter, let's see what,
It's not, Mike, he's a Hazelnut Hill.
I think we've heard from him before, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
yes, we did. Did we realigned a stop sign there,
Yeah,
right?
at the end of,
Mhm. Final thing in the back. So, it's a hospital, certain times of day, people do fly down there as you're trying to get out of the hospital and.
I don't know if we just want to step up
Do-
enforcement at this.
Do we know where signage, where the closest signage is?
I don't
Is
know.
he concerned about the people coming down Hazelnut Hill onto 117? Is that?
I think
That's how
both
I
ways.
took it, yeah,
Mm.
because he's always concerned about Route 117 something as well.
Yeah, I obviously drive that. We all do drive that quite frequently, at least a couple times a day. I'm wondering if it's the people coming down, you kind of have to pull out a little bit more just to be able to look
Yep.
south onto 117. I don't know if that's his concern. We can certainly assign this to the traffic unit to keep an eye on.
All right,
I forget, if we wanted more signage, that the
Yeah, we can
DOT,
Take a look and see how many there are.
Well,
Add
Hazelnut's-
some more.
okay,
Hazelnut's down there. So do you want them on Hazelnut or on 117?
Hey, on Hazelnut? Well, Chief, if I may say, maybe other than traffic authority, I never talked to him. Maybe I'll go out, you with the gentleman, just get a little more clarification, really. Sometimes, more come, just the story, so.
right.
No, thank you. Right, so I don't know that we need to take any other further action, other than we'll direct that.
Right.
Bunch of people. We'll meet with him.
But if you see a need for signage, yeah, just work with Greg and, yeah.
We'll do so.
Any other items of business?
I do have one minor thing here. We're replacing the traffic signal for Quantic Road and Groton Lane. It's an existing signal, and we have a DOT OSTA form that the traffic authority either John needs to sign it.
You need actual approval?
I don't know if it needs approval. It doesn't, it just says signature from a representative.
Okay, well,
Good enough project ready to go out to bid.
Any other items of business?
No, but we already have 2 items that will be coming probably in August. I received from Public Works, a gentleman on Flint Court is requesting a children at play sign. When I mentioned it to Officer Afifi, it's like, well, why just one?
Yeah, I don't think those are approved through.
And I said, yeah, and so I don't know if there's something we could do maybe at the entrance of Paquonic Bridge, children at play.
So I
or
recommend that we look
something.
at the entire area because if.
Well, those are, we can't place those signs because they're not approved through the MUTCD.
Sign under
Yeah.
TCD.
We'd have to look at other options.
It's like that's what the false sense of security that I was telling,
Yeah,
that's where I was
yeah.
saying, like the mirrors and stuff.
mhm.
So I don't know what to do with the
Okay.
request and, and then would we want to do anything? I know it was sign or not.
Yeah,
on
we
one
wouldn't
road,
do it
yeah,
if it's
so-
not an approved sign.
Yeah.
Maybe there's other things we can
Right.
ask Sharif to maybe take a look at.
And then one other item is gonna come down, New London Road, and Sharif will be able to describe it better, but New London Road where it intersects with Water Street.
Yep.
There is a crosswalk on New London
London.
Road.
Yeah, I've had
And there's
discussions with DOT on this.
Okay, and there's a stop sign there.
Yep.
Well, we have a woman who lives at the
15 and a
power-
half, the
yeah, the
powerhouse.
condos.
Yes. 15 has a powerhouse, about 14 residents there. I met with a few of them, one in particular. And I see their concern and it's actually was a little odd. I didn't pay attention to it myself in the past, but right there, as they come out Water Street to continue 215, people coming out considerably fast. I'm having to slow them down. And then her concern with the 40 residents that when they come out of Powerhouse and turn left, they're inching their way and they're waiting for all those cars to come through. And they will request a stop sign. So I told
A stop sign on Water Street at,
New London. So what I told Jeannie and
Yeah.
Chief is that I was like, I understand your concern, but I think we're gonna have to look at the entire area. Because now a second stop sign there, what about people coming in?
well, that may not be something that we've had discussions with DOT on that. That's they're the authority for that.
Yes.
Obviously, we can
I
make
explained that to her.
recommendations, but that
Yes, yeah.
I've had personal discussions with folks in that area, with DOT over that particular area, and I'm not sure that they'll put us, I don't want to make a decision for them. We don't have that authority, but we have had those discussions with them. And we've had discussions about relocating the crosswalk as well. But we'll have to do a little bit more homework on that one.
So that'll probably be on the August agenda.
Yes, so I'm looking into it some more and I'll come for advice because I realized very quickly, it's not about appeasing her. It's now you're gonna have to look at the entire area. Is there something to do with it or not?
And Kevin Ing is the guy that that discussion with,
Okay.
that I've had with someone before. It was Kevin who you spoke to.
That's it.
Any other items?
Nope.
Motion adjourned. All right, it is 14, 17, 18. 2.
2. 4 o'clock is 16.
Hey,